Group 4. We are Dylan, Harry, Lara, Tahida, and Wadad.
All symptoms and feeling of depression happen because of chemical changes in the brain. As your brain experiences more stress, the level of chemicals may drop, and this prevents them from operating properly and can develop symptoms of depression. There are three main chemicals that stop working when you are depressed. The first chemical is serotonin. Serotonin helps your body ready for sleep. It also keeps your body in rhythm, temperature, and energy. It produces a chemical called cortisol that helps your body fight stress. The second chemical is noradrenaline. It involves in setting energy level and feel full of energy and enthusiasm. And if you are depressed, you will feel lifeless and exhausted. The third chemical is dopamine. It plays an important role how we experience pleasure. It is associated with the production of endorphin, which is a form of painkiller. For people who have depression, life can be painful and without pleasure.
Characteristics of major depression and how it can affect occupational performance. First is despondency, joylessness, appetite changes, which is loss of appetite and weight, disturbed sleep, which is difficulty in falling asleep, early waking or too much sleep, changes in motor activity, heavy, sluggish movements, reduced facial expression, and sometimes restlessness, fatigue, increased physical and mental tiredness, low self esteem, concentration difficulties, and thoughts about death and suicide attempts.
Explore the role of the occupational therapist and the generic mental health worker in community mental health teams. The role of a community occupational therapist helps guide an individual into improving their participation in their once loved occupations as well as social engagement. Community occupational therapists will help regain their strength and ability to contribute into everyday activities. One of the community occupational therapists' role is to assess and provide help and information about equipment and adaptations to their home. This will help them become independent with daily living tasks. An OT may create goal plans with service users in order to maintain this. When it comes to mental health, such as depression and what OTs can provide to the clients with, group programs, social and emotional skills, returning to work support, improvement of communication skills, development of independent living, and sensory strategies are all ways to overcome this. Occupational therapists must prioritize service users in practice. This includes working in partnership with them, meeting their needs, choices, as well as aspirations. They need to be familiar with the risk management legislations that regards to the OT's practice as well as their local risk management procedures. And lastly, they need to enable positive risks in order to provide care to service users.
In this slide, I'll be talking about 5 different non-pharmaceutical treatments OTs use on clients with depression. The first method I'll be talking about is structured physical activity program. It is a method that asks the client to go do physical activity or an exercise, as studies shows physical activity improves mental health. And it tends to work on clients with mild depression. The second method I'll be talking about is behavioral activation. It is a therapeutic method that utilizes primary and secondary reinforcement to promote good habits and actions that uplift mental health and emotions. The third one I'll be talking about is counseling, a method that improves the client's self-image and applies realistic goals to improve mental health and promote development. The fourth one I'll be talking about is behavioral couples therapy. This is used in situations where the client has a partner that doesn't fully understand the side effects of depressions, which cause problems. This method teaches both partners to work together and overcome problems. And the last one I'll be talking about is interpersonal therapy, a short therapy that teaches clients about depression and how to overcome depressive episodes. After reading the journal about different methods and approaches, I can confidently say that the information is qualitative as it does not include numbers or statistics and does not include all the pharmaceutical treatments. However, the treatments it does include are very well written and have a lot of information which helped me answer my question. The only critique I can give it is that it did not give a list of all the professionals that would use it in most of the methods, and the methods that I did have it on, OT was rarely mentioned.
How leisure activities can help depression. Case study information indicates that Sean's usual leisure activities include cooking and gardening. He is currently not engaging in these activities due to his depression. Wilcock and Hocking found that there's a three-way link between occupation, health, and survival. Yerkes found that there is a human spirit for occupation. This theoretical evidence highlights the importance of incorporating meaningful occupations into Sean's treatment plan for the best possible outcomes. The Royal College of Occupational Therapists have guidance on risk, which states that OT should embrace risk to help clients reach their goals and to participate fully in life. Cooking. The occupational therapist can work with Sean to enable him to return to cooking every day. This can be broken down into a short-term goal of engaging in cooking activities before building up to the longer-term goal of cooking every day. Smith found that food preparation can bring joy and pleasure. Using this evidence, the OT can incorporate cooking into Sean's treatment plan. Sean has a poor appetite, which can be attributed to his depression. Leprezzi, Hood, and Drummond found that there's a relationship between diet and depression. The activity of cooking can enable Sean to start to feel more empowered to address his daily diet and poor appetite while engaging in meaningful activity. There are limits on research into the effectiveness of the activity of cooking or baking, as found by Guerrero. Gardening. Gardening is one of Sean's usual occupations and also is what he does for his employment. He is currently not engaging in this activity. A short-term goal could be to engage in community-based gardening so that he can feel the benefits of gardening without the pressure he was feeling in his job. Gardening, such as an allotment, has been reported to be beneficial to health and well-being by being stress-relieving and contributing to healthier lifestyle, creating social opportunities, and promoting self-development.
Examining factors influencing return to work and how occupational therapists may facilitate this. Some factors that hinder the return to work are high expectations from employers during the return and fearing judgment from co-workers who may have prejudices about mental illnesses, as well as a lack of work knowledge and skills, as skill-based training may have been missed by service users. There is also a possibility of another relapse, but OTs need to embrace this risk as Sean and other service users may not feel confident about their abilities, so return to work allows them to see their own strengths and weaknesses and gives them a chance to decide if they want to change careers or stay where they are. OTs can facilitate return to work by conducting a functional capacity evaluation, communicating with employers about gradual return, working a few days at a time and not overloading cases, speaking to employers about workplace awareness of mental health, and helping Sean find a way to maintain a support network, be it with his friends and family who moved away or joining a new group he can share experiences with. One way an occupational therapist can facilitate the return to work is by using cognitive work hardening intervention treatment, an evidence-based occupation-focused treatment that uses work as a way to address occupational challenges people face returning to work following depression. It progressively rebuilds mental energy and cognitive abilities required for return to work and promotes self-efficacy through task mastery and facilitates development of coping strategies that can be used in the workplace. A research study into cognitive work hardening for return to work of people with depression found significant improvements occurring in self-reported measures of work ability, fatigue, depression severity following a completion of this. This intervention is a treatment that can be very beneficial to Sean as he wants to go back to work, and it helps reduce depression symptoms and reducing work stress so he doesn't fall into a tiring work cycle that can potentially lead to another relapse. Following our research, we created a suggested intervention plan using the 3 goals Sean identified and broke them down into long-term and short-term goals. To improve the relationship with his wife, we suggested they both undergo behavioural couple therapy, as Sean had said his marital relationship is strained. We also said he join support groups so he can have closer support networks he can contact rather than just depending on his wife. To return to cooking every day, we suggested he start with graded activities and increase as he progresses. To return to work as a landscaper in 4 months, we suggested a gradual return using cognitive work hardening and talking with his employer so he has less casework on him. Thank you for listening to our presentation.